this actually gives me a good opportunity to try out some of these automatic modes. I'm going to try the macro mode or the zoomed in mode, and let's see if we can get some cool pictures and see how effective it is. We'll see. Well, good morning and welcome back to my kitchen. Sometimes I like to record in the studio, other times in the office. This morning, I made a coffee, I'm watching some relaxing aquarium music, and I'm just observing and having a look at one of my favorite Nikon cameras. Now this is the Nikon D3100. Why is this one of my favorite Nikon cameras? Very simple. This is the Nikon D60. Now the D60, for me, takes incredible pictures. Some of my favorite family photographs have been taken on my little stocky Staffordshire Bull Terrier of a D60. The 3100 is basically a souped up version of the D60, in my opinion. Now we can see the similarities in size. Obviously, you guys, I've placed the battery pack on the bottom of the 3100 in this instance, because I took it to a brewery the other day and I was shooting it all day. So I needed the extra battery just to ensure that I could manage the whole day with that camera. That having been said, you can see the similarities are almost identical in their body shape. Differences then, if you look at the screen on the back, the 3100 has a slightly larger viewing screen so I can see what I'm dealing with. Now you guys know I'm not a huge fan of vlogging. I'm not a vlogger, but I guess here I am vlogging for you. It just makes me feel weird walking down the street with a camera, and especially this one. This is the Canon SDXC, whatever it is. It has a zoom lens on it. It's perfect for taking videos, and let's go on a little wander. There is some pretty serious down trees at the back of my house I want to take pictures of. Let's do my bulb test initially. I do love those two tests, just to see if we get bokeh, and then I like taking pictures of the plant because it shows our colors. So let's head down to the bottom of the yard. I want to just show you this tree that's downed. Can you see that bad boy? Let me take a picture of it. She's actually on the power line, so I called AEP this morning and let them know, but it's pretty gnarly. I'm just glad it didn't fall on my studio. I say my studio, I built it. It's actually my wife's studio. You notice that? You just build things and then other people just occupy them. It's fine, it's fine. Flower test. Super noisy, I can hear them. There's probably AEP cutting down a bunch of trees which have already fallen. So let's go on a little wander and see what we can see. So yeah, that's my camera walk done with the Nikon D3100. Now that is a really good excuse for me to stretch my legs this morning, but also at the same time, test this 3100. Now I know that it does well because I've owned one before. I just wanted to show you guys that you could get out there and take some images, and just because there's not much going on early in the morning, it doesn't mean that you can't practice your skills, practice that bokeh, practice that fast speed, you know, and just get out there and enjoy yourself, you guys. Boom, the 3100. So why is the 3100 one of my favorite Nikons of all time? Very, very simple. This was released in 2010. 2010 was a great year for Nikon. They released this camera for around about $700. Was from 100 all the way up to 3200, but could be expanded to 1200. So for low light conditions, the 3100 was a pretty decent camera. Another thing I loved about the camera back then was it had 1080p video mode. Now the video mode has an autofocus, which is constantly working. However, it isn't the best. but you can still get some pretty interesting videos with it. Have a look at this quick one I just took trying to capture a wasp in my kitchen that was after my daughter's peanut butter jelly. Check it out. This little wasp really needs to be let out into the world and not be in my house. So let's let you out, my friend. There's the world. There's the wasp. Come on in, my friend. Let's let you out. Do not sting me. Go. There she goes. I also love the fact that Nikon included a guide mode within the camera. Really quite simply. Right here, the third button down has a question mark on it. It also helps you zoom in, but when you press this button here, you can see whilst the camera is active, when I press this button, it gives me a pop-up screen, and inside that screen, it gives me the information for whatever it is I'm looking at the camera. So if I want to know what aperture priority is, I press the button and it will give me a spiel about what aperture priority is. And it has that for all of the menu system within the camera, which makes it great for beginners. Another thing that we love about these earlier Nikons is they had the automatic exposure settings. And again, if you're just getting back into things, those exposure settings on the wheel there, if you have a look on that top wheel, that top dial, that has all of those automatic exposure settings that you're looking for. And those automatic exposure settings are things like sport mode, portrait mode, night mode, kid mode. You just simply adjust the dial to the picture that you prefer. The camera will then adjust its settings according to what you're doing. This is great when you're out on the fly. Maybe you've had 1 or 2 drinks and forgot how to use your camera. You can just stumble up to portrait picture mode and take a great picture with beautiful bokeh and look like a professional that's drunk. Another feature I love inside the camera has built-in modes, standard, vivid, monochrome, and I love the monochrome setting. Yes, you could do black and white edits in post, but it's nice to be able to do it straight out of camera. Check out these pictures. This camera then also at the time boasted the new Expedia 2 chip, which basically meant if you own a Nikon 3000, it was much faster to buffer and much faster to use than those previous cameras. 3 frames a second burst mode, which is molasses slow, but fast enough to have fun with the family. Camera takes SD cards, and as you know, we love SD cards. Nice and small, carry 10 in your pocket, you're never going to run out of space for pictures. This added battery pack really weighs nothing. I think overall this camera is about 400 to 500 grams. Even with the battery, it's still very, very manageable. I love these battery grips because you can shoot portrait with it. It has a shutter release button on the top here, which means if I'm taking pictures for Instapot, Tipgram, or FaceTalk, I can just put my camera in portrait mode, take pictures, upload them, and then post them, and I know what I'm dealing with. Another great feature of this camera, it has a dedicated live view button, which means if I just slide this button, I can automatically get onto live view, which was an addition. Just slide the button, boom, live view. And if I just switch into live view, this is where I can press my dedicated recording button and start recording my videos of my family doing crazy stuff, my daughter falling off the climbing frame, and my wife making fun of me. Auto settings for this camera are very straightforward. The menu is so easy to use. If you're a beginner or if you're getting back into photography, consider this camera. It's going to walk you through everything you need to do in order to create beautiful pictures. That is what we love about the 3100. Press that question mark if you have any questions. The 3100 is going to answer them. Price then. How much is the 3100? The question everyone asks. When it was released, it was $700 and it came with this kit lens. This kit lens is fine. 18 to 55. It's an F-mount lens and you must have the F-mount DX VR lenses. And here's why. These lenses have built-in motors. You need a built-in motor to operate the focus system on this camera. So you need these lenses. That's fine because the lenses aren't great, which means they actually come up for pretty cheap. This particular one I bought on KE, I believe it was $10. 25 max, but I believe it was $10, as is KEH. I buy these all the time. So would I recommend the D3100 in 2023? Well, it was released in 2010. It was a $700 camera. It has 14 megapixels and a bunch of automatic modes. And if you look online today, you can pick this camera up with a lens for less than $150. Yes, I would absolutely recommend the 3100 in 2023. If you're a beginner, if you're getting back into photography, if you love photography, if you love Nikon, if you want a small camera you can take with, if you want the ability to edit, crop in those photographs, if you want a huge file, not huge, 14 megapixel isn't huge, but this camera, the 3100, is kind of in the no person's land where people aren't really looking out for it. So this one you can find a deal on. This is a DSLR camera, which means the body is going to stay as it is, and I just upgrade my lenses to make my image quality better. That is a wonderful thing about the D3100. It is an F-mount camera. There are a whole bunch of lenses I can use for it and make it a really good, high-functioning little body that I can take anywhere and take great pictures. So thanks again, you guys. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen. I know it's a different setting, but I just wanted to have my coffee this morning, set up here, speak to you guys, let you know about the 3100, and hope you get out there, use your Nikon cameras or whatever you use, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much for stopping in. Grab a 3100 if they're available. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. I never know what to do at the end. Bye. See ya.